For this square, we're going to start with a magic circle. We're going to wrap the yarn around our fingers twice, stick our hook in, pinch it with our finger, and make a little chain to hold it in place. Then we will start by chaining 2, which will count as our first double crochet. We'll work a total of 16 double crochets into the ring. We yarn over once, into the loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we have a double crochet. We're going to repeat that 16 times into our loop. Again, for a double crochet, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the center of our ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 10 more to go. And one last time, yarn over, insert my hook into the ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through last 2. And that should be my 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. At this point, I'm going to pull on my yarn end to secure the center of my ring. You will want to make sure that you're securing this at the very end so that it doesn't come open while you are working your final project. And then I am going to slip stitch right here into the top of that first chain. We're going to fasten off and we're going to start the next round. For the next round, we're going to start with a slip knot on our hook, and we're going to be using a second color to make it easier to see the changes in each row. We are going to start by working a slip stitch into the last stitch that we worked. So this one right here. So here's where we joined. I'm going to stick my hook right into that last stitch, or the first stitch that we worked, and I'm going to do a slip stitch to join my yarn. You can tighten down that knot because you're not going to need it. For this round, we're going to start working the beginning puff stitch. The difference between the beginning puff stitch and the regular puff stitch is that we're going to be starting this beginning puff stitch with a chain 2. After we chain 2, we're going to yarn over and insert our hook into that exact same space. We are going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to do this one more time, yarn over, insert our hook, pull up a loop, and now we have 5 loops on our hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are now going to yarn over one more time and pull through all 5 loops on our hook, and our beginning puff stitch has now been created. We're going to work all around in all 16 double crochets a puff stitch. So to do that, we are going to start by yarning over, going into the next stitch and pulling up a loop once, yarning over, going into the same stitch, pulling up a loop twice, yarning over, going into the same stitch and pulling up a loop 3 times, and we should have 7 loops on our hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. You're going to complete that around 16 times around your circle. To show you again, yarning over, going into the next stitch, pulling up a loop, yarning over, going into the same stitch, pulling up a loop, that's twice, yarning over, going into the same stitch for a 3rd time, and then pulling through all 7 loops on your hook. We're going to repeat this around, and then we will join our yarn. may be a little tricky when you're pulling through all 7 loops, so just take your time and work the yarn through. It may help to twist your hook slightly to get it to adjust through the grouping of yarn, but you will be able to get it through. Showing you again, we're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go into the same stitch, pull up a loop, and one more time, yarn over, into the same stitch, pull up a loop, and now I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 7 loops on my hook. Just a couple more times here. And in my last one. Once I have pulled through all 7 loops, I'm going to go back here to my first stitch. I'm going to yarn over and pull through so that I can fasten off and continue into my next round. Now we're on to the 3rd round. We're going to start again by switching our colors, and we're going to be working 4 double crochet clusters in this round. This is not an increase and it's not a decrease. Your stitch count is going to stay the same. It's just a puffier stitch. Basically what it means is that you're starting 4 double crochet stitches in the same place and then pulling them all together on that last yarn over. To start this round, we're going to start with a slip knot on our hook, and we are going to slip stitch into any space between 2 puff stitches. So we're not going through this V here at the top like we normally would. We're going to go right there in the middle between 2 of the puff stitches. Once we have our hook in there, we are going to slip stitch to join, and again you can pull your tail a little tight so it locks it down into place. For this first one, we're going to do a beginning 4 double crochet cluster, and to be able to do this, we are going to start with a chain 2. This counts as the start of your first double crochet. You're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the same space, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Now you have 2 partially half double crochets on your hook. We're going to yarn over, go into the same space, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Now I have 4 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through just 2. Now I have 3 partially made double crochets on my hook. I'm going to yarn over again, go into that same space, yarn over and pull up a loop. I now have 5 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over, pull through 2, and now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 loops on my hook and 4 partially made double crochets. I'm going to yarn over one last time and pull through all of them so that I only have 1 stitch or 1 V being made here for those 4 stitches. Because this is a larger cluster, we are going to chain 1 between, and now we're going to do the same thing into the next space between the 2 puff stitches. This time though, we're not chaining, we're just going to yarn over, go in between the 2 puff stitches, yarn over again, pull up a loop, pull through 2, yarn over into that same space, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. We're going to yarn over into the same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then we're going to pull through 2. Now we have 1, 2, 3 partial double crochets. So we need to do it one more time with a yarn over into the space, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I have 5 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 5, and now I have the cluster, a chain, and a cluster. I'm going to continue in this fashion around, working into the space between each puff stitch from the round below. I'm going to be making 4 partial double crochets into each space, and then on that last yarn over, I'm going to pull through all 5 loops. I'm going to chain again and work into the next space. and we will continue this pattern all the way around the circle. As you work, make sure you're working into the space between the two puff stitches, not into the stitch itself. And as a refresher, you're going to yarn over, go into the space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over into the same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two. Yarn over into the same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two. Now we have three, last one, yarn over into the same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two. I have 5 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 5. Chain 1 and continue. And our last one right here in this last space. It does look a little tricky here because of the chain 2 that we started with in the previous round, but you're still going between the puff stitch instead of into the stitch. So I yarn over, go into the space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over into the same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over into the same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and the last one, yarn over into the same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 5. Now make sure you do your last chain here before you slip stitch into the top of that first puff or first cluster that you created to make sure that it is the same spacing all the way around. Then you can fasten off and we will work our 4th round. On round 4, we're going to take our circle and turn it into a square. To do this, we're going to create 4 corners and we're going to make each of the sides. To create the sides, we are going to work different heights of stitches of double crochets, half double crochets, and single crochets to get our sides. Let me show you how this works. Start with a slip knot on your hook, just as we have for all of the other rounds. Then we're going to start with a slip stitch into any one of the chain 1 spaces. Again, we're working into a space, not the actual chain or stitch. We're going to make a slip stitch and tighten up our knot. Then we're going to chain 3, which is going to count as our first double crochet. We're going to work 2 more double crochets into the same space. So we're in the space, and the difference here is we're going to finish the stitch. Unlike with the cluster, we're going to finish all of our stitches. So we yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and we're going to do that one more time here in the corner. So in the last round, we didn't finish our stitches so that they would all join into one stitch at the top. Here we have 3 distinct stitches to make our corner. Next, what we're going to do in this next space here is we're going to work 2 half double crochets, which is a yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. and we're going to work a second one right into that space. We're going to move to this next space here, and we're going to work 2 single crochets. Then we're going to work into the next space, and we're going to go back to 2 half double crochets. And finally, we've worked across the side and we're into our next corner. We're going to work 3 double crochets into the corner. Now that finished our side, and to turn the corner, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to work 3 double crochets into this exact same space that we worked the last 3. By doing this, we are turning the corner to make our square. We're going to go to this next chain space, and we're going to do 2 half double crochets. And as you can see, we're starting with the highest stitch of double crochet, going down to a half double. Then in the next space, we're going to a single crochet, working 2 of those. Then we're going back up to a half double, working 2 in the next space. And then finally 3 double crochet in this next space, chain 1 space. We're at a corner again, so we're going to chain 2 so we can turn, and we're going to work 3 double crochets back into this same space. 1, 2, 3. We've now created one side and 2 sides of our square. Let's continue across for the next one. We're going to go to the next space, chain 1 space here, and do 2 half double crochets. We're going to go to the next chain 1 space and work 2 single crochets, and the next chain 1 space and 2 half doubles. Finally, in the next chain space, we're going to work 3 double crochets to start our the first half of our corner. We will chain 2 to turn, and we will work 3 more double crochets into that exact spot. Now we're here on our last side. In the next space, we're going to work 2 half doubles. We will work 2 single crochets into the next space, 2 half double crochets into the next space, and then finally 3 double crochets into that first corner to finish it off. After our 3 double crochets, we will chain 2, and we will slip stitch into the top of our chain 3 that we first made to start this round, which counted as our first double crochet. This then, This then finishes off our corner here, and you will see that we have now taken our circle and made it into a square. We're going to fasten off here and then work one final round to clean up the edges. The last round that we're going to work is going to even out the edges. We're going to start with another slip knot on our hook, and we're going to join in any chain 2 space, which is our corner. We're going to start by slip stitching and tightening up our tail, and we're going to chain 3. This is going to count as our first double crochet. We're going to work a double crochet into every stitch across this top row or side of your square. As a reminder, to double crochet, you are going to yarn over, stick your hook into the stitch under both V's, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Again, we're going to continue this all the way across the side of the square. When we get to the last stitch, we're going to figure out where we are with our corner. When we get to our corner, we're going to double crochet into the chain 2 space. We're going to chain 2 to turn our corner, and we're going to double crochet into that chain space again. Again, we will work double crochets all the way across this side and get back to the next corner. Make sure you don't skip a stitch like I almost did. As once you work back across and you get to your next corner, we're going to do 1 double crochet into the chain 2 space. We're going to chain 2 to turn our corner, and we're going to do 1 more double crochet back into that chain 2 space. And we're going to work all the way across this row, just as we did for the other 2, working 1 double crochet into each stitch. We're back at a corner. We're going to double crochet into the chain 2 space, chain 2 to turn our corner, 1 more double crochet into that chain 2 space, and now we're ready to work down the side of our last side of our square. Make sure you get under both loops. If you don't, just pull out your hook and try again. And we're working double crochets under the V of each stitch across this row or side of your square. Once I get back to the first corner that I started, I'm going to double crochet once into this chain 2 space. That makes the other side of my corner. So here's the first one with the chain 3. Here's my second one with my double crochet. I'm going to chain 2 to turn the corner, and I'm going to slip stitch right here, going under both strands of the stitch, and finish off with a slip stitch, pulling through once, pulling through twice. I'm going to fasten off, and I'm going to pull through one more time to secure my end so it can't come apart. Then you can straighten out your square. You can block it slightly with some water. This is acrylic yarn. And don't forget to tighten up your hole so that it's nice and tight in the middle, and you'll weave in your ends. And that is the Sunburst Granny Square.